Welcome to the Recruitment Rollercoaster podcast. My name is Hisham Azuz, and today I'm in Manchester. I'm joined by, for those who can't see that, Louise, who I'm with, just, what are they, Raven Hands?
Raven Hands.
Raven Hands, yeah. So I'm joined by Louise McMullan, who is the MD of a business called White Label Recruitment. Louise, thank you for joining me. Where I always like to start, how did Louise enter the world of recruitment? Please do share. Talk to us. How did that happen?
I didn't fall into recruitment, so it's not conventional stories where people just stumble across it. I left college at 17. Yeah. Didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to run a business of some sort.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, basically dropped out my A-levels because I was being you're forced into applying for applications and deciding what you want to do. And I was like, I've got no idea. But
what was
I
your
want to
parents pushing that?
No, just the college and stuff.
Oh, really?
And I was I got really good grades, and I was like, I don't actually know what degree I want to do. So I'm definitely not going to just go and choose a uni when I wasn't sure. So previous to that, I'd worked for my dad in his business. So I had a chat with him, and I was pretty upset, and I was like, I just don't want to go to uni yet. Yeah. So my dad said, right, you can come and work with me again. So at 17, I went and worked for my dad. They've got they've still got it, a fireplace business. So it's like fireplaces.
That's niche.
Very niche. Love a niche. So I went there, thought, right, I'm just going to get my head together for a year to work out, and I'll just be a bit delayed. So did that, and basically ended up there 6 years.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you do there?
So I've just ended up running the business with my dad.
Really?
Yeah, and then I got into, obviously, I was earning quite a lot of money and stuff for my age. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't really go back to uni now and work everything out. And then, that was it really. Then I got contacted by a friend in recruitment that saw sort of what I was doing and how ambitious I was and everything. And he got me an interview, and that was it.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you have a friend in recruitment?
Yeah.
So that's really interesting then. So would you say the decision you made working with your dad, that exposure has really helped you now?
Oh my God, yeah.
That's crazy that.
100%. I ended up, if dad listens to this, he'll be like, oh right, what are you going on about? But yeah, I ended up really trying to help him have a better work-life balance. Cause he was working 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and then...
Was it like a brick and mortar business, and then was that what the business was?
It was really manual and stuff like that, and then I tried to get it into the 21st century and get his website updated and marketing, and then I took over the sales, started earning commission. Yeah. And my aim was for him to work less, and then I kind of take amazing. It over. And then I just had a friend who saw what I was doing, and he just said, I think you'd just be really good in recruitment. Really? And I was waiting for this opportunity, but I didn't know what it was.
You felt like you
do you know what I mean? I was waiting for something, and all these years I'm I knew I'm not going to stay there, but I didn't know what I was going to do.
That's really interesting.
I just he got me an interview. It was a mate. And
how did your friend sell recruitment?
Oh,
be honest.
It was like running your own business.
Okay.
Money. Yeah. Ambitious people. You can run your own business, but you've got support of another company. Yeah. So I was like, it sounds like it just sounded perfect for me, and it just got me out of that sort of role that I was in. But then obviously when I went into the interview, I was definitely not a person that should be in recruitment.
Really?
I had no degree.
You don't need a degree for recruitment.
Where I went, you did. Yes, okay. You need a degree. I dropped out of college. That didn't look good. Worked for sort of 6 years there, so it just didn't, on paper, look that great. But obviously, you get through an interview and stuff like that. So it was all right. Okay. Yeah.
So, and then you ended up wasn't it Huxley?
Yeah.
And are they part of a big brand, aren't they?
So Huxley are part of SThree,
okay.
So that was where my friend worked. Yeah. But I got some interviews at other companies as well, just to make a comparison. So I did loads of research on it, and I was like, God, this is perfect for me. This is exactly what I know I could do.
I did research on it.
Yeah.
Because again, my friend told me about it, and I was like, this is really in line with, because I just did sales at that point, and I wanted to just get better at sales, and I researched into recruitment. I was like, you know what, more face-to-face, more consultative. That's what I really like. That's what I needed to add to myself. Yeah. What did you like when you researched it? Because it's interesting to research and what you see.
I liked the 360 side of it. Like you get a job on, go and get the job, and then you follow through with the whole process, and then you kind of build relationships, and they're your clients. Like I like that whole concept of it. I think it was only 360 that was about then anyway. I don't think there was any other options, but there was a lot of variety. Changing days will be different. Going out on your meetings, like out the office one day, then you're coming back, and there's so many different aspects to the job, and I like multitasking and stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, it sounds good.
Why did you pick SThree?
Well, I knew someone in there, which is always good. But I just really liked the business, liked everything about it. Obviously, the holidays, that was a big attraction at the time. But bearing in mind, I'd worked for my dad for like 6 years in a shop in Manchester. So I was like, wow, this is like, I've got friends.
That makes sense.
I'd
So like to have that culture.
Oh God, yeah, like the culture was just like amazing. Obviously the training at SThree was like ridiculous. You get to go to London for like the week and constant training. Like I'm massive on that sort of stuff. I really liked the managers. Like my manager who took me on I just really gelled with her.
What market did you go in?
Supply chain.
Supply chain.
Which was pretty easy as well. So I kind of thought I can get that pretty quickly.
And so then, obviously since starting White Label, what market did you do now? Did you start a different market?
So I was putting on an engineering permanent team. So they did design, quality, supply chain, sales, I think at the time.
So it is supply chain, but
in engineering. So we now at White Label do engineering as well.
Okay.
For similar markets.
Okay, so for everyone's benefit then, so how long did you work at SThree for?
Oh, it's only 18 months.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you've been running White Label for how long?
Unfortunately. I've been running this business now for 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
18 months, then starting a recruitment business.
So I had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting that. It's an interesting journey that. How would you, I always like to speak to people about their first 12 months in recruitment, because they can be really difficult for a lot of people. Well, it's certainly difficult for myself. How were your first 12 months in recruitment?
They were fine.
Really?
Really easy.
You nailed it. Easy?
I don't know if I just got a good market or whatever. I got a bit lucky, I don't know. But basically, when I went into that business, we had such a good team.
Really?
The engineering perm team was incredible.
What made it incredible?
The people, they just recruited the right people, the right culture, the right personality fits, the right drives. Everyone had the reason why they were there. We were all similar ages, and they got it right. Whatever they did, they got that team right. So it was hard to not really do well. Everyone shared information. Everyone had their own patch.
Really collaborative.
Really, really nice team, and it makes a massive difference. You didn't tread on anyone's toes or anything, and you wanted to do well for your team. So we passed jobs about. We'd give each other candidates.
So it sounds like a good experience.
I had I think I remember my first 2 weeks, someone just took me out in a meeting, my mate Chris, took me to a client, gave me a job, and I went back and I filled it in a week. So honestly, I had such a good start. So I was like, oh, this is meant yeah.
Recruitment completed it.
I know, yeah. Easy. So I had a good start, a very good start. So it gave me that sort of positive sort of mindset. And I was like, oh, this is really good. And my market weren't too technical, so it was all right.
And has it always been perm that you've done?
Yes.
Okay.
At Huxley, yeah.
Yeah.
At White Label, it's payment contracts.
Okay.
I've never really been a contract biller, though.
But you've predominantly done perm?
Yeah.
Okay, just quickly on that point, it'd be good to, because I'm sure, obviously, your early experience and what you experienced in that team and what you thought went really well, that you've sort of brang here, and do you know what I mean? So, what do you think were some of the biggest contributors to that team just making you feel like that? And do you know what I mean? What were some of the big things that you think contributed to that team doing so well, and why it worked so well?
At Huxley, they recruited people based on certain competencies and certain values. I don't think I ever actually understood what the values were at that point, but I get it now.
What were they then? What was the...
It was just enthusiasm, just positivity, very resilient, driven, ambitious people. Everyone knew why they were there and what they were doing it for. So even if they didn't want a career in recruitment, long term, you could chat to people and you'd know why they were working so hard. And we chatted about it loads on nights out and stuff.
So it was really clear that everyone had, like, they knew.
I felt like my team was, It
Really?
was really, really clear. And
It's really interesting.
Everyone was happy for each other. Everyone was genuinely happy for each other.
Really?
It was good. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I've tried to do that here, because it definitely does work.
Okay. Anything else in that first 12 months then? It seems like you just absolutely nailed it.
Oh yeah, no, obviously it weren't that easy.
Like what was some, do you know what I mean? What was something?
For me, it was a huge learning curve. Like I'd not been to university, so I'd not had that sort of appreciation for being in like group situations and all of that stuff. So that was really new. I'd never ever met a client in my life on my own. So I had to learn all that pretty quickly. I think that's quite tough, but they give you such good training. So,
what made the training so good? A lot of people said this on this podcast.
Role plays.
Really? Is that
massive on role plays, and we do that here. Like Emma is really good with that. She'll sit in this room and she'll do it at the desk and just get people in the zone and like push them out of the comfort zone. It's horrible.
Role plays are horrible.
They are
horrible
so
thing. Horrible. But
absolutely
they are
hated
brilliant.
them. Absolutely
but
hated
they are
them.
Horrible.
I remember being in like meeting rooms and they'd put you on the spot and you'd just like going dead red, like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. And, like, it was horrible, but you do need that to, like, they push you out your comfort zone, like,
really?
A lot. Yeah.
Early on as well.
Yeah. So I think even though as a rookie it's really tough, you need a company to push your boundaries a little bit. But it wasn't sort of too intense. It was just enough, I think. I found that hard. I found the clients hard. I found going on a meeting hard. Even just like getting in my car and driving down motorways that I'd not really done before. And when you're dead young, you don't. I've got to go to a business, so like get in my car and go there, and then do like a really good pitch and get myself back.
Yeah.
You're only like 22, 23.
No, I know.
It's quite a lot to.
Yeah, totally.
To do, really.
I always remember my first client meeting with my old boss. And it is a really cool experience, cool feeling. It's like, feels like a proper job.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
And you see what.
Yeah. Looking the part.
Do you notes at the
end?
No,
you're totally right. It is, and then when you do that first meeting on your own, it is a good experience. Without
you get like a bit of a buzz then, don't you?
Yeah.
Thinking like, God, like I've just gone in this engineering business, met an MD. I've like told them what I do. They've given me an exclusive job. I'm going to go back and do a really good job on it. And it's just a really good sort of cycle. But yeah, I found that quite tough, like really challenging. But obviously, you put a brave face on.
How did you bill in your first year, mate? How did you bill in your first year?
It was $250.
Really?
Yeah, it's far a bit more. I don't know. I think it's a bit more.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I know.
That's decent.
Yeah.
First year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well happy with that.
That's really good.
It was a really good. I can't really take all that credit as well because I told you we had a good team. We passed a lot of business. We shared information, stuff like that. Each of us took each other on our meetings, so we worked really clever and really smart. So it wasn't like 250 where I got all the new business in. I think when I actually did the numbers, it was 60% my new business and 40% from my team.
Really?
Yeah.
In the first 12 months?
Yeah, so...
that's good.
40% came
from... What year was it?
From that. It was, 2008.
2008.
Yeah, and then I think the recession was maybe after I just left, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a quick one on that, and we'll dive into sort of the more recent experience.
Yeah.
Just a quick one because a lot of people that listen to this podcast can be quite early on in their career.
Yeah.
And like, obviously, do you think your experience now, in obviously hiring people here, like, are you talking to people about doing 250k in the first? Do you know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
Not
so
at
like
all.
that's obviously that's just a different ballgame now, isn't it?
Yeah. I would
but like,
say.
what would you say was the biggest? I mean, you probably mentioned it a lot, but what was the biggest contributor, do you think, for you to having such a good start in those first 12 months?
My work ethic.
My
work ethic was like totally different to most people.
What do you mean? How?
I would get on with my job, not mess about, didn't talk a lot.
Really? Really focused?
Got my head down, really focused. I would be in at 7, leave at... I was left on time because I liked my sort of time after work and stuff like that, but I got in quite early, which was dead time to me anyway, just in bed. So I'd get in, just get all my KPIs done, like before anyone got in, so like everyone would be walking in and I'd be like, yes, done my mail shot.
Really?
I did my contact.
Where'd that come from, that work ethic?
I've worked with my dad since I was like 14. So I've worked 6 days a week from like 14 to 23.
Yeah.
So to me, going sitting in an office,
fair play,
at 7 a.m. was like pretty easy. I weren't lifting anything.
Huh?
I weren't lifting fireplaces.
You know what? Fair play. Like, how many 23-year-olds have worked 6 days a week for like what 7 years? That's absolute. Selling fireplaces as well. That is a graft, mate.
Yeah. I moved them all as well, by the way.
Really?
Moved them all.
Wow.
Lifted.
I think I think like from the sound of it, like that was the best uni you could have picked. Do you know what I mean?
I know we always think
that's
this
amazing.
now. Yeah, it's like it's pretty boring at times, but like the stuff you do learn from it, and like resilience and like getting through boredom. So when you get really bored and you just got to like crack on, like recruitment can get a bit boring sometimes. You just think, well, it's definitely nowhere near as bad as that. Like I've got all people around me, you've got like dead good atmospheres and targets and stuff like that. So it's not that difficult to get through a bad day, really.
Okay. Work ethic. So this came up on this came up in a conversation again recently, and I know obviously you're big on work-life balance, well-being, these types of things.
Yeah.
It's particularly in obviously our world, recruitment. I think so. The conversation, to give you context, was the chap that I did a podcast with recently, James. He basically said that each CEO, when he asked them what's the biggest contributor to, or what do you think is the best thing, or what big billers always have, and it was always work ethic.
Oh, really?
It was always work ethic, but I feel like in today's world, when you say work ethic, do you know what I mean? It's got that. Okay, well, as you were saying, you're here from 7 till 7.
Yeah.
And that isn't really sexy anymore.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
No.
So what's your view on work ethic in 2019, 2020?
Yeah, so maybe I've not explained that right. So even though I did get in quite early on a lot of days, that didn't really contribute to building that much money. Like getting in an hour earlier, 3 or 4 days a week is not going to make you a 250k bill. It was what I was doing in the time I was there, which was the normal 8-9 hour day.
Yeah.
I think for me, your work ethic is doing what you need to do when you need to do it.
Yeah, no, so true.
There'd be weeks where, stuff's going really well. You don't need to be in the office till 7 till 7, but I think when you do need to put it in, you do need to put it in. When you I don't know, like you sit here so many times and watch people and watch what they're doing, and you think, you're wasting so much time.
Yeah.
But you're here, but you're not really present.
So right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
totally.
You can watch what people are doing and you think, God, you could have gone home at 5.
Yeah.
But you're here till 7.
No, you're totally right. I think that I was just interested to get your thoughts on that, because
I don't believe in that much work, in hours anyway. I don't think work ethic means someone who's done more hours than someone else.
It's back to your point. Like, just because you did 7 till 7, that has no. That the equation isn't, if you work 7 till 7, that means you're going to bill more.
No, it doesn't.
Now, if you are doing 7 till 7 and you're doing all the right activities, then definitely. Do you get what I mean? But that's the thing where people get mixed up, isn't it? And that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like work ethic is just willing to do what you need to do in the time required, and when you may not be feeling like it, but you do it. Yeah,
and for me as well, the work ethic is doing your work when you don't. Well, you just said it. When you don't feel like doing it. When you've had that bad day, or you're tired, or you think, I really want to be somewhere else, but you're making those little decisions all the time to get you where you need to go.
Something that clicked with me.
Yeah, it's not hours.
So I'm into like reading like all about sales stuff and all that.
Yeah.
There's a guy called Grant Cardone. Don't know if you ever
Yeah.
So he said something that's always resonated with me, and it was when I was in recruitment, and it really helped me. And it was like, you've got to love what you know other people hate doing. Like if you love what you don't like doing, like if you really love it, but you don't enjoy doing it, So like for me, it was, if I actually had the mindset of like, right, if I actually really start to actually really enjoy and love making cold calls, even though I don't really like doing it, that's going to massively help. Yeah,
we got taught something. Eat the frog.
Eat the frog.
Yeah. So we do it in here. So we're like, right, what's your worst thing on your day plan?
Yeah.
It's like, what do you not like doing? So yeah, eat the frog, and you come in and be like, right, what's the thing I hate the most, or something that's really going to take my brain power? Eat the frog, and you come in and be like, right, what's the thing I hate the most, or something that's really going to take my brain power? And do that first. Like, yeah, eat the frog. There's a book,
like that.
There's a
That
book
is
on
that
it.
basically.
It's basically that.
Eat
yeah.
the frog.
So at my dad's shop, I used to come in and move all the fireplaces.
Really?
Get it done, then I could sit in my office and like do the sales, which is what I like doing. So just get the worst thing out of the way in the morning. As a rookie or a manager or a team leader, just face up to the stuff that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Like people don't like doing mail shots, for example. So come in and write your really good mail shot, and then you can be free to do the rest of your day then, can't you?
It's exactly that.
Yeah.
And I think that is actually a really good tactic just to crack on with what.
Yeah.
Because it's such a good feeling once you've done that.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you said at the beginning, so have you always wanted to have your own business then?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. However, when I first went into recruitment, that sort of stopped because I loved it at Huxley. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. And that role gave me the feeling that I was running my own business, even though you work for someone else, but that was fine.
But you didn't really feel that?
No, and it felt like, like I said before, you go out on your meetings and you're doing stuff, you go home and maybe post your adverts and then write your day plan for the next day of what you wanted to do. So it was like running your own business. And the only reason I ended up leaving was because I had a baby. So otherwise I probably would have stayed there. Maybe one day I would have looked at doing it myself, but it wasn't really on the radar at the time. I would have wanted to like build a team and maybe become a director or something.
How old was your child when you started?
He was, nearly 1.
Really?
Yeah.
That must have been difficult.
Yeah. But it was a bit of a weird time for me because I didn't really cope with the having a baby thing very well.
Really?
No, so I had like a bit of felt like really anxious. Like it was horrible.
Really?
Really horrible feeling.
What, just about life or just?
No, it was nothing specific. It was just a feeling, like shaking and just like didn't feel like I could cope very well. And I went back to Huxley to have like a back to work interview. And I just sort of went into a bit of a meltdown. Like it just came out of nowhere, like a little mini panic attack.
Really?
Yeah, it was horrible. And I looked around the office thinking, oh my God, like if I don't bill anywhere near as much, like I'm not going to be looked on in a good way, and put this stupid pressure on myself. And no one at the time had kids in recruitment as much. It was 10 years ago, so quite a while. I just felt like a bit of a loner, do you know what I mean? I thought, God, like my life's going to be so different, even though it actually never ended up being any different. But so yeah, I felt like I didn't have another choice really, so it came out of necessity really. But yeah, so I felt like I had this like bit of a meltdown. So I thought, right, I'll go and interview a few other places that don't know me, so I've not got this big 250 target on my head. And then I couldn't get an interview.
Really?
Anywhere. No. So no one would give me an interview. I got loads of telephone interviews, but because it was like I wanted a 4-day week.
Yeah.
And then I said, right, well, I'll commit to a 150 target. Like, that's it. I don't feel like I even know if I could do any more than that because I've never done a 4-day week and I've never had a baby before, so I don't actually know. All I'm going to say is it's $100 less than what it was when it was.
That's mental.
Yeah. So I was like, right, I'll do 150. And then everyone on my telephone interview was like, what makes you think you can do that? You've never done a 4-day week. And at the time, like, no one was really doing it.
Yeah, totally.
So my confidence was just like totally knocked. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And did
that feed into that you feeling being anxious?
It was awful. Yeah. So I was like, do you know what? I haven't actually got another option here. I was backed into a corner a little bit. So I thought, right, I'll just try it and see where it goes.
How long has White Label been going now?
This is our 8th year.
Yeah. 8th year. And how many of you are there?
17 of us, yeah.
There must be so much that you've learned through this period. So how many children do you have now? Just
3.
3?
3.
So you've had 2 more...
3 boys.
You've had 2 more children?
Yeah.
Since running White Label?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I know. One was planned, one wasn't.
Okay, let's talk about
yeah,
that.
all good.
Let's talk about that. So, I guess, firstly, let's just start. There'll be people listening that are definitely thinking about starting their own recruitment business.
Yeah.
What should they be thinking about that maybe you didn't realise or think about when White Label was formed? What's your advice to people that are thinking about starting a recruitment business?
Invest in yourself before anyone else. So I would say just make sure you've got some sort of network or some sort of membership to a peer group or something where you can talk to people that have done it, because you'll save yourself years of problems.
Invest in yourself.
Yeah, so
I like that.
You know,
what do you mean by that?
just like, you know, your networking groups you can go to. Some of them charge you a certain amount of money per month to be part of it. But you go to, you know, once a month, go and meet other directors of recruitment companies. It might be like one-man bands or people who've got 5 people or people who've got 20 or 50. So for me, that's just the price of a really good gym membership or something.
Yeah. Anything else?
'Cause it's really lonely.
Really, you found that?
Really lonely.
When did you hire someone?
We were a year in.
A year? What, you hired one person?
Yeah. So it was, it's quite lonely. Work from home, which is sometimes not great for your mental health and
do you like
physical.
Working from home?
No.
I don't.
I only do it now because I do one day at home. Well, technically it's not at home. I go to like a coffee shop or a pub or something like that. And take my laptop and just do all my admin and like my thinking time. But obviously when you're building a recruitment business, you're billing and stuff like that. So you sat in your house, it's quite lonely, and then you don't know if you're doing something right. Yeah. So you might get like, I don't know, a question on terms, and you think, I don't actually know what I'm doing.
What did you used to do? What did you do?
Luckily, I had a friend from my husband's friend who's got a recruitment business. Okay. Oh my God, like he helped me so much.
Was he a mentor?
Absolutely, pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, he was just so. I speak to him now, like if I get stuck. I think he's done it for about double what I've done it for. So
what was the benefit?
I was really lucky that we had that relationship.
What was the benefit of that relationship?
Oh, so if someone doesn't pay you or you get a complaint and it's you, like that's not stuff you deal with when you're working for an agency. Yeah. So you'd be like, right, what do I do now? Oh, can you recommend a lawyer? How do I get this client to pay? Taking someone on, like you might take someone on and then they leave, or you need to dismiss them for whatever reason, and what's the process for that? Where do you stand legally?
You just did so much you've never done before.
You've never done it. You know, where do your finances come from? There's about, you know, you write that on LinkedIn, I need an invoice factoring company, and you'll get about 500 messages back.
You'll get absolutely
How do you even know what questions to ask?
Yeah, you're right.
Know who's the right one. So for me, mentor is a good one as well. So I had that without even sort of looking for it. But if you're starting out, try and find one. And even if that's someone that's invested in your business a little bit, even if they're getting something out of it, like a percent or something like that. But
it seems like it's that's having someone that you can speak to about what you're doing. I'm thinking about this. Is super useful. Yeah. When it's rather than just you in your living room doing what you need to do.
Because I think you spend so much time questioning your own sanity as well, questioning yourself. And you've gone from being a really high biller, usually people who set up, to being in a room on your own with no people, trying to bill again with no clients and no one to talk to. So it's like, it's pretty big.
Did you know from the beginning that you wanted to grow it to like where it is now? Really?
No, didn't. Like I say, it was out of necessity at the time. It was like a fight or flight for me.
Yeah.
And then it was only when I got sort of myself back on my feet again, like mentally and stuff like that sort of time, stuff became clearer, and then I got my drive back again, and I was like, oh, you know, this is going to go somewhere, I think.
Again, though, you're saying there, like, again, invest in yourself, and I guess what you're saying there is, mate, if you are thinking about growing a business or whatever, make sure you're doing it when you're in a good place.
Yeah. I don't know, because I don't know how people start businesses, because I think people do it for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes having something quite negative can really drive you, but then it doesn't want to always be the driver, does it? But
do you think people like thinking about starting a recruitment business should know from day one if they want to grow it to like 10, 15?
No.
Or should it be a lifestyle business? Like,
Definitely
you think they should be open?
I only feel now that this is really getting traction.
Okay.
I don't know how you would know that unless you are a certain type of person.
Okay.
I do meet a lot of people who do know that from day one. However, there are a lot of men. So I think maybe there's a bit of a difference, because I've always known I've wanted a family, and I've never known how that's all going to pan out. So I think for a man, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but they don't usually stay at home with babies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they can plan things out a bit easier than, say, a woman could, because they've never got to do the maternity leave, and they've not got to get themselves back to work. Or if you're a woman who owns a recruitment company, you've got to get cover to cover your role. So I feel like it's been harder to plan that out, but now I'm not going to have any more kids. It goes, it's quite easy.
Yeah, totally get that.
Do you know what I mean? So maybe that.
On that note, first year, children, mum, trying to build a recruitment business.
Yeah.
What was that like?
A lot of long hours, going back to the hours again.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that actually like though? Like,
my God.
Did that mean that you've got less time with your children?
No, so I do get up, normal day, drop them at nursery, go to work, or go home, or go to the office after year one. Do your normal day, go home, do tea. I had a lot of family that helped me out and stuff. I used to go and play my sports and stuff like that a couple of times a week, get back in the zone, and then getting back in bed, and then I would do 9 till 2 in the morning.
Shut up.
I reckon for 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Did that not just burn you out?
No, I liked it.
Really?
Yeah, I liked it. It was good, because you're building something, so it's like, it wasn't like work. It was like, and also like
2 in the morning. Who are you calling at 2 in the morning, mate?
But that was like admin, and like doing all my documents and like what I'm going to do, and prepping my mail shots, and I got quite a buzz off it. But also, you've got no money coming in, so like you can't think, I've done all right this month. I'm like, I think like 6 months ahead, so I'm always a bit of a planner. Yeah. So I'm like, right, I need to, if I had a sniff of a job, I'd be shortlisting people so that I had people the next day straight away to be calling and stuff like that. But for me, I'm all about like building the pot up. I'm quite a stable person.
Okay.
So I'm not month to month.
Fair enough. No, I absolutely love the honesty there on
the
hours you had to put in.
I had to because I was like, I have to get enough money for this to be sustainable.
Hiring your first person?
Yeah.
Anyone that's going through that process?
Yeah.
Would you do anything differently? Like what if I'm in the process now of thinking about hiring the first person for my business?
Oh God, I can't even remember. It was so long ago.
But anything that comes to mind if you would speak to someone right now, like, Louise, I'm thinking about hiring the first person for my recruitment business, would you say anything to me about this?
Yeah, actually I would.
Go on.
Make sure that they understand the relationship and how it's going to change.
Okay.
So that first person comes in, they're like part of your business from day dot, and then as your business grows and you develop yourself as a biller to a recruitment owner, business owner, to a manager, to a director, that relationship starts changing. And I think it's quite difficult for those people that first come in to accept that change over a certain period of time. So if I was to do anything differently, I would have maybe tried to explain that change was going to happen.
What they're getting themselves in for.
And the relationship's a big one. It changes so much. So I know a lot of people whose first person that have come in have not necessarily gone into a management role, but then it's caused a lot of problems in businesses because they might think because they're the first one in that they're entitled to a certain role, or they might actually not be suited to that position.
That makes sense.
Okay.
It's
quite a big one.
So how long have you been at around the sort of 15, 17 mark? Like, what's that journey been like?
This year's been a big one for growth because she's like kind of like a business partner now, Emma. She's just been promoted to director, has come back off maternity, and she's grown the business quite a lot this year. So I think we've took on 5 people this year.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's been.
And I covered her last year on her maternity, and we took 2 or 3 on the year before.
Really?
It's been in the last couple of years, really. We've always been around the 8 mark.
Because that was the agency. What agency I work for is around that. And obviously, me and my old boss had a really open relationship, and it was difficult to get past that.
Yeah.
It is really hard, tough. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Why do you think that's difficult? That.
Your processes and structure.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot slower for us, the growth, but I'm more about the foundation and making sure everything's right before we do something. And it's at the end of the day, it's like, it's people's lives. You can't be bringing people in and they've not got a target to meet, or they don't know where the next promotion's coming from. So I've done it a lot slower, so like the foundation's there, but now it's there, it's rocketed. Could take, I don't know, so many people on now, but there's these job specs in place, there's roles, there's different promotions.
So what you saying makes up the foundation then for people?
100%, yeah.
But what makes that up for people listening? what should people really make sure they have in place, or the building blocks to have in place if they really want to start scaling or hiring?
Really good financial sort of backing in terms of if you're going to use a factoring company, you can get paid quickly if you really need it. Get yourself in a good credit position where can get an overdraft if something happens. Everyone's got good job descriptions. You know exactly how your commission works. Good commission structure. Very transparent with everything. You've got a good training provider that everyone goes through. So everyone's the same. Good management program. Everyone goes to the same management program. So all your team leaders are on the same page. Where you're going to be based. What's your culture? Why do you do it? Like, all that took me a long time to work it all out.
Really?
So, what's your why? Do you know, why are you doing it? Do you know, it's took me years to work this out, like, a long time.
Why do you think it's taken you quite a few years?
I just didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, being honest.
And you know now?
I just didn't know what it was. So,
How did you find that out? What was that? What was that like? That's not easy.
It's really not. It's really... Read books.
Why'd you do it then, Louise? Share it with us all. Why'd you do it?
I sat down one day. I actually did a conference call with Mike Smith. So he was the ex-MD at Huxley, and he runs the Power Hive with Sean. And as part of that, he did like a 3-hour call with me, and he really sort of grilled me on stuff. And he was like, why do you do what you do? And I wrote it all down, and I was like, I really like making people better. I like seeing people progress. I like building something. I like process and all these different things that I've done all over these years. And he was like, well, how can you put that into words? And I was like, it doesn't sound that good, does it? It sounds a bit... Yeah. It doesn't sound like all these huge vision statements that everyone has on their websites and stuff. And he was like, but that's what it is. And I was like, oh, yeah, it is actually. And since I've just accepted that, I'm like, oh, it's actually really easy. I like making people better, and it's like quite simple. But all these years, that's what I've been building, but I never knew what it was. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
why do you... again, why? But
why?
Why has that helped you? Why is that helping you now? Do you know what I mean? Why is that important for people listening to really think about that and nail that down?
Because you cannot have good days every day. So you're going to have to accept that you're going to have like really bad days, or, things are not going to go your way. So if you know what the bigger picture is and what your reason for being here is, can just brush it off a little bit, or,
It gives you perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, what the bigger picture is, I think. I don't know, it's a weird thing to sort of know. Yeah. It's hard to articulate. But the Simon Sinek book's good.
Yeah, that is good. So, yeah. That is good. He's got a new one out.
Oh, really?
Have you seen that?
No.
It's interesting. It is interesting. What's been the most challenging thing for you running this business?
Having children.
Really?
Yeah.
How have you managed that?
Do you know what? I say that, but then at the same time, if I didn't do it, I wouldn't be where I am. So it's a bit of a...
What do you think that's been a huge
It's
driver
the reason
for you?
why it's such a good company as well.
Really?
Yeah, when they always say, don't they, like your biggest challenge ends up being like you sort of...
Why? What do you mean? How?
Because you're forced into plans, you're forced into looking to the future, forced into making decisions with people's careers.
How have
People step up hugely. So like the 2 years I had off was the 2 years where my whole team have stepped up massively.
Really?
And then last year Emma
you
went
had
off.
2 years off?
Well, yeah, one was like 6 months, and then I was off a bit more then, and then the other year was a full year.
How did you manage that? This is your
business. This is what I mean. Like, so you.
How did you manage that?
I'm really trusting in people. But like I said before, because the foundations were there, it wasn't that difficult. So your technology's there, your processes are there, you recruit the right people.
It's that trust though, isn't it? Surely.
Trust. I can honestly tell you can ask Emma this as well, she'll verify it. I was so adamant that she was like such a good leader and I wanted to just give her that chance. We had one call for a week, every week for an hour.
That was it?
That was it. And then we did one monthly review in a coffee shop.
Really?
And then I went on lunch clubs. Yeah. But I just wanted to I thought, do you know what? If I'm going to have a business that's going to give me the life I want, this has got to work.
That's amazing.
So if it doesn't, this isn't really what I want to do. Because I can't sustain being a mum, working this much, if I've got to be there all the time, because it's not sustainable. You're going to burn out. So for me, it was like a bit of a test. Like,
totally.
Do you know? And then and also as well, when you put that much trust in people and you delegate effectively and you give them that chance and you trust them, people are so good at the job. Like the guys in here do things so much better than I do. Like they're so good at what they do, and it gives them a chance.
Just on that, because I think there's some really valuable stuff in there. Like there'll be people listening that probably are in that they do want that life where they're not always having to be involved, but they're still put into post. My old boss was definitely that. Yeah. Like if I was to say to you, you were talking a bit about there, but if I was to say to you like some real practical advice for people that feel like, fuck, I'm still so involved with everything, but I don't want to be, like how can I really start taking a step towards that? Do you know what I mean? Because that's amazing that you did that. Yeah,
it obviously when I planned my second child, it was obviously a 9-month process, so we made a plan.
You actually put a plan together.
Yeah, you can't just obviously do it overnight. So we'd look at every week or every month what part of my role can Emma now be learning, and do like on-the-job training, things like that. Just put a little bit of time aside so don't see it as such a huge step. So by the time it actually came to happening, she was already doing the job anyway.
That's really smart. So that's really good advice. So basically what you started to do is actually over that period, like really like just build up what you're doing on a weekly basis. Yeah. Okay, Emma, or whoever it is in your business. Yeah. Like, let's start here. Why don't you start doing this? And then it just continued to build and build and build. And then, as you said, by the time that you left, that's really interesting. And then
Emma now does that with her team. So these 2 or 3 different people now that she replicates that with. Yeah. And she'll do that on a weekly, not always a weekly basis, but you know, there'll always be some sort of training where they're learning something. Yeah. And we try to explain this in the business that by giving something away doesn't mean that you're losing it. You're growing. Yeah. In some way. Do you know what I mean? So give it to your team, because like your rookies want to be involved in doing sales days and things like that. And you might be a team leader thinking, oh, I really love this part of the job, but the minute you delegate that, they become good, then you can focus on some higher level stuff. So yeah, we're just quite big on that. We're constantly teaching each other our roles.
How have you got better at trusting people? That's not easy, that.
You hire the right people. That's quite easy to say, isn't it? But yeah.
What do you look for when you hire for your business? What are the things that people must have?
Trust.
What do you mean?
So you have to hire people you can trust. So
you need to. How can you trust them if you just met them though?
I don't know. We do have like. I don't do these interviews anymore, but questions that you might ask them about, you know, things that they've done at work, or how would you handle this situation. Okay. You can usually tell in an interview if you give them like a couple of chances to ask.
But what any like key characteristics that people have to have for you that gives them the best possible chance of? Because obviously, just to highlight here, how many people have left your business in the last 5 years?
Not many. 3.
That's what I mean.
Not lost anyone in the last. This is our 3rd year.
Pretty good, that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, there's definitely factors to that.
Yeah.
So like, what things do you always make sure, or really make sure that you're confident these people have for you to?
If we feel like someone is going to step on someone to get somewhere, if they give any indication of that, an example,
is that the biggest thing?
There would be a no, straight, without even question, whether there was a 200 grand biller, like, and that's quite easy to find out because you can just ask competency-based questions around.
Yeah.
You know, give me a time when, you know, something's not gone your way, but it would have benefited you, and see what they say.
Yeah.
And we can have an interview done and dusted in 10 minutes. Because we would just know. Obviously, I know I hate saying it, but like the resilience thing, that's massive. How
do you interview for that though?
So again, we try to ask them things outside of work.
Really?
Yeah, it's never in. We resort to that as like a last resort if it's in work. But what have you done outside of work? So, you know, a time where you found something really hard outside of work, and then specifically what was that? How did it feel? What did you do? Who was there? So they can't lie. You know, so it's not just a pre.
Have you done any psychometric test before?
Yeah, so we use I can't remember what it's called now. The gold one.
How's that helped?
Really good. So that gives us.
Because someone mentioned that recently, that was a big thing for them. They started doing that like 18 months ago. Yeah. That had a big impact.
Yeah, so we use that at final stage.
Really? And then what are has there been like any trends?
That's more on the sales side. So that's sort of what are they going to be sort of afraid of on the sales side.
Well, so you can work out some particular.
Yeah, and then it gives you actual questions you can go back into the interview and ask. Yeah, that's what it's really good actually that.
Okay.
But then back to the interviewing, team player.
Team player.
Huge,
yeah, it seems like that's big.
Huge. Again, I'd take that over. I'd take someone with like that mentality that was a rookie, that I knew was exactly the right person for our team, over someone who's been in recruitment 5 years. That's 200 grand biller any day. I just don't.
The culture that you want to.
Yeah, and that's how you can obviously get the traction with people staying for a long time and not leaving.
Okay.
And then the work ethic is a big one. Again, we really promote work-life balance. Yeah. So I don't want to get that confused, because I think sometimes it might come across like, oh, you know, they've got an amazing work-life balance at White Label, but we work really hard when we're here, and we're really committed to the team environment. So everything's about the team, everything's about, you know, working together, and that's what I mean by sort of that.
Work-life balance?
Yeah.
In recruitment?
Yeah. Does it exist?
What does that mean to you, and what does that look like? Because that's clearly something you're passionate about. A lot of people in the Manchester area that sort of network and know you and your brand. It's clearly something you're passionate about. But what does that mean to you from your perspective?
For me, when I had that feeling of not being able to go back to my job that I loved, because I was so scared of targets.
When you was anxious and...
Yeah, and feeling like I loved something so much, but I didn't feel like my life was going to let me do it. Yeah. I got really like passionate about not making other people feel like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Don't know what it was. It just like was a bit of a change. So I've always been quite passionate. Like I don't like seeing people struggling. Yeah. Because of something at home that's affecting the work. Because everyone's got the chance to do really well. Like everyone goes to work 9 till 5 and can do the job, but a lot of the time it's external factors that contribute to,
for sure,
poor billing or good billing.
Yeah.
So I'm quite passionate that everyone's got the same shot at the goal, but it just sometimes everyone's got different things that go on. So try and help them out with stuff.
Work-life balance for everyone is individual.
It is. So you can't just say, oh well, everyone loves flexibility, because some people don't really care about it. Some people it actually makes them worse. Some people need it. Some people just need a break and not be you know, not be on the case all day about something.
How have you gone about finding out what makes people tick then?
It comes back to the why again, So I think now everyone in the business understands that. We've done loads of training on it and watched videos and stuff like that.
That's what their why is?
So they have to write this at the start of the year. Yes, they have to tell us what it is, and it's constant development. So we, as managers, need to know exactly what their why is. So at any one time, I don't even manage anyone in there, but I would know exactly what drives someone so that I can tap into what it is. And it's not manipulative or anything like that. It's just like what motivates you and why you're here. And then we'd know exactly which areas of the work-life balance are relevant. So you've got all these different things which are brilliant, like flexible working hours and work from home and that, but it doesn't actually suit everyone.
Yeah, it's individual, isn't it? I think that's the thing for me.
Yeah,
From what I see and the conversation I have, work-life balance is individual. It's not like a blanket.
Yeah, and I think as well, you've got this framework which is brilliant. I might be a bit naive here because I've not got a business of 50 people, but it's quite easy to manage. But we employ people that understand that we're fair managers and we do the best for each person. So we don't have anybody saying, well, why is that person just left at 4? They trust that we've done that for a reason. Yeah. So it might be...
That's important.
It might be, you know, someone's just, I don't know, not in the greatest place mentally, or, you know, something at home could have happened that they don't want to share. Our staff know the managers have made the right call to say, you don't need to come in, or just leave. No one will question it. So it's got to be really specific, and it can't just be, well, it doesn't say it in the rule book, or it doesn't say it in your contract, so you can't leave now. Yeah. Do you know? Yeah, I know. But I don't know. Obviously, I've not got a team that's 50 people, so that must be a lot more difficult
I know what you mean.
to do. But it's got to be very bespoke, I think.
No, I think that's right. So, what I'd love to just get your perspective on a few things as we before we finish. So. From your perspective now, obviously you spoke about a lot about running the business and your experience with that and these types of things, but in 2019, and your experience over the last sort of couple of years, what have you seen the sort of top performers in your business do really well, and what do you think contributes to that in today's...
Top performers?
Yeah, top performers in your business. Like what are common things that you see in these people?
They know the why they're here.
Okay.
Obviously, your top performers, you want them here for a long time as well. So they know exactly why they're here and what they're doing it for. If they're not going into management, why they're not going into management, why they're staying on billing. They are going into management, why they're doing that. They're not just copying the mate who's done it for a bit of progression. They go on training and they're constantly developing. So they don't just leave the book in the drawer. Basic stuff like that, really. Like every now and again, you'll listen to a top biller and you'll hear them say something on the phone that you know they've learned like a month ago. You're like, yes. Like they might not have done it straight away, but they're dropping stuff in all the time.
Are you? Is it also common then that you're sending these people always willing to learn? Yeah, that's big.
100%.
So they have the humility.
And they'll learn in their own time as well. So it's hard to bring change in. So you might change a system or change a process or something. I think the top performers are the ones that stop what they're doing, listen to what you're saying, have the headspace to acknowledge it, and then they'll implement it over like a 2-month period. And then in 2 months, they're starting to use this system really well. The ones that are lower performers, they're not listening, they're not taking on change, not getting with the times, they leave books in drawers, they don't actually know how to use the new systems you've put in, and they're getting left behind a little bit, and then it's always a struggle. And I think the top performers on the day plans, if you were to look at them, they've got a lot of time for change and admin, and take time out of the day to learn when the business is progressing. And I see that in the day plans. Oh, and they plan really well because they do day plans.
They plan really well?
They plan really well. So
what does that typically look like? Do they block out?
So day plan every day.
Really?
Even if it's a list of things to do.
Really?
Yeah, so they'll just have a tick list, or it could be times or whatever. The top performers always do a day plan. That's really practical and good. 100%. No matter how long they've been here,
that have a day
like
plan.
Emma and I do day plans like every day. We're accountable to each other.
Okay.
Yeah, just stuff.
I know obviously me and you spoke about this when I sort of started to learn a bit more about your business and stuff, but how recent was it that you changed it where some people focused more on client side and some people focused on the delivery side?
It was 2 years ago, maybe a bit longer.
Let's just talk a bit about that because I think that's interesting.
Started off, yeah.
So what was the driver behind that? So for everyone listening, you've got a team that's dedicated on clients.
So they're in pairs, a lot of them now.
Pairs.
We've got a mix of people. So firstly, I lost a really good biller because we didn't have a delivery model. Really good 360 guy, but he wanted to just focus on candidates.
Okay.
He was really good on the candidate side. And he was actually really good if you gave him a job.
Yeah.
But just didn't really enjoy the new business. Lost that person. Went on a training course. The trainer said 360 is dead. And in 4 years, you're going to be left behind. So I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? I only knew 360. So we just started bringing it in bit by bit. Emma came off billing, paired up with Megan, who's our contract biller, and they split it, and it was like ridiculous. Like the results we got were so good. Well. And then I did loads and loads of research on it and was like, do you know what? I don't want a company where people are getting burnt out. And everyone that I spoke to was like in flow. So like the in flow sort of a theory. And when you break it down, you're like, God, yeah, it makes loads of sense. Like your people who are BD and your new business people are out on the road all the time, bringing in new business. And then you've got the people who are a bit more, you know, relationship side or doing your delivery. And then you've got your resources doing the candidate side. And everyone's doing what they're good at.
What's been the key
and the billing's gone through the roof since we've done that. Yeah.
So what's been the key to that working, do you think?
Hire different people for different roles. Yeah. So.
But then, so I think I've had one person that really spoke a bit about this, and it was a guy called Nick. So he's from he works for Finley James. Yeah. And he's now in America, but he spoke about this, and what he said was really key and important that they had to get right was the communication between. And the relationship between the sort of the delivery person and the new business person. Yeah. Like you said, pairs there. There must be a reason why you've done pairs. And I'm sure you can expand it to like, you could have one BD person and that might be 2 free delivery people. Yeah. But the pet, like, is that important?
Yeah. We've had like 360s in place. And then say we get a CV that's spec'd in and they're a delivery. And you think, do you know what? We interview you and you're just going to go really well with that person. Yeah. It's not really been planned out as such. For example, we've just done it with Tom and Holly. Holly was 360, doing okay. But she was like, I do really want a delivery person to progress to the next level. And we got Tom's CV through and we were like, this just works. Yeah. And it was the match.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's not been this big plan or anything. But yeah, it's just been like we interview people all the time, and if things work, we move things about.
But a big factor as to why I think billings have increased, etc., is, as you said, you've now got people in roles where they're doing it's more actually instead of 50-50 doing something that they're really strong at and 50% something they're okay at. Yeah. You've got people like 80% or whatever, 75% doing what they're really good at.
Really good at. Yeah, so you're not getting the yo-yo sort of thing, which is where everyone gets burnt out and they go home really depressed because they've got no jobs on, but then they can't get the time to do BD.
How does that work commission-wise?
It's just split 50-50.
Is it?
Yeah. So when they first come on, it's a 70-30 split. Yeah. Because that person's teaching the delivery person. It's usually a 360 teaching a delivery. And then once they're up to speed, it's a little team then, and then it's 50-50.
And is that person always BDing?
No, so we got taught that you should be 70% in flow. So 70% of your time is what you're really good at, and then 30% picking up the other person's role, and then vice versa. So, for example, if you've got a team and your BD's on holiday, your delivery would still start following your leads up and doing the BD side, but it's not forever. Yeah. It's just picking each other's roles up. So we make sure they're competent at each side of it. But the majority of the time, you're 70% in your flow, so 70% candidates or 70% BD.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And do you see that in the future now, how it's going to...
Yeah, 360 is like really good, but it's not that easy to get people that are very, very good at that. So we've got a real good mix in here. We've got a few 360s, we've got resources coming through, and then we've got a delivery team, and then people doing BD, our team leaders.
Okay.
Yeah.
As we finish then, mate, what are you thinking about? What are you making sure you do with your business to ensure you evolve, stay relevant, these types of things? What are you thinking about going into next year?
One thing that I learned from Mike when I did that call with him was what's your value proposition to your clients, your candidates and your staff.
Yeah.
What like makes you stand out. I'm really articulating that some way and making sure that your brand's out there and stuff. So we've been doing that for like the last year. It's like next year we want to make sure we sort of really make sure that that's communicated on LinkedIn, obviously. Help from you as well.
But what, just
yeah,
quick,
I think for me next year the brand is going to be a big one because we're at 17, 18. We need to make sure that the brand's right so that we can go to that next level because I believe that it's going to be a lot harder without it. So yeah we need to get that right. Get the marketing right.
Because it's so like you speak to any recruiter and be like, yeah, we're different.
Yeah.
You're right. It's like, okay, let's actually think about that. What makes you different?
Well, yeah.
And that doesn't mean...
It's not easy.
It's not that because you're a specialist.
No.
It needs to be a bit more than that, doesn't it?
It's got to be real.
That's definitely part... Yeah, it's got to be real. That's such a good point.
Yeah, it's got to be really real. And do you know what? I realised that for me, it was all about my staff and that's fine. I don't know, maybe some businesses think it's got to be about the candidates or the clients first, but if it's not, then it's not.
Yeah.
Because for me, the staff are the big ones, and then it'll all sort of filter through to the clients anyway. But I think be honest with yourself and say what it is, and then maybe get some help in putting that together somehow.
Yeah.
But don't just copy what someone else has done. It's got to be what if you're the owner.
It's got to be real. Yeah.
If you're the owner of the business, what is it that's making you like?
Because people can really feel that when it's real as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's when it's really powerful.
Yeah. Work becomes a bit easier as well if it's from sort of the heart.
So it's brand. I mean, you really strike me as someone that's always willing to learn.
Yeah.
Which I think is wicked, and which is why 2 years ago you made a decision to make a complete change. And I think that's so important. So I guess when I ask you that, you're someone that's very you're open-minded on how things can evolve, but it's always thinking about how things can improve and get better in these types of things.
I think the video thing's the big one as well. Which I hate to say it because I'm like terrified of it.
What video?
Videos and all that type of stuff. And we've been speaking about it for a long time because we got loads of information from the Power Hive and Hinterview and stuff like that. But it's just making that change and going, right, this is going to change now, and training people, and is it going to work? Our client's going to like it. So that would be a huge thing. If we can get to the end of next year and we're like got a good presence, more importantly, everyone like buys into it and we're getting good results from it.
You're going to be in an even good spot.
Yeah, that would be good.
Because then it's like, as you said, for me, it's like, if you have that, and then you've got a team in here that are bloody good at bloody good at what they're doing.
Yeah.
That is the really powerful combination. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, mate. Well, look, before we finish, what are you excited about? What's going on in your world that you want to shout about?
Personally, or just generally?
Just in general, yeah. Any more children?
No.
No.
I'm excited to see like where everyone goes now next year because we've got such a good team and everyone's got like such good, exciting plans.
Does that get you like buzzing?
Yeah, like I love that sort of stuff. Like them all booking certain holidays or people are planning families.
Wow.
That
you definitely give some advice.
Yeah, like it's nice to see someone be in recruitment and they've got enough savings to go, right, I'm gonna have a baby now, and the jobs we're planning on like how we're gonna backfill their role whilst they're away and stuff like that. And
so you really open.
I love stuff like that. Yeah.
You said you obviously you answer that with like obviously, but like, it can be quite typical where someone is trying. Around children and family, and they might want to keep that sort of under wraps or whatever because it's like, what's going to happen with my work, whatever. It seems like you're really open around we're planning. I think that's great.
We try to we did have a big meeting the other day actually about this with the people that are talking about this in the next year or two, and how we're going to support your role, what's going to happen with your clients. Well,
that's amazing.
We've all got each other's back in that sense. So it's not about who does what role. It's like everyone's there for each other for their time of their life. I think that's great. We try to have that type of culture. yeah, that I'm excited about that because obviously there'll be a lot of changes.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I think there's a guy getting married next year, and a couple of really good, strong billers that are brand new that are going to get houses and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. Cool
amazing
stuff.
Cool. So a question I ask everyone to finish this podcast. So you can answer this with a phrase, a sentence, whatever comes to mind.
Yeah.
So if you could communicate to every single recruit out there, they'd take on your advice, they'd listen.
Yeah.
Phrase, sentence, what comes to mind? What would you communicate to these people?
Oh, no one's going to like this.
Go on.
Do your KPIs.
Do your KPIs.
Right, we're actually not a KPI-driven business, but they're really important. So, like, for anyone in recruitment, if you think you don't have to do KPIs, then something not right.
What are you saying? Make sure that you know what activities you need to do.
Whatever you know works for you, make sure you know what it is and just do it. Yeah, like it's huge for us. Even like our top billers, they know exactly what they need to do, and we make sure it is. It's only a few, but know what works.
Know what you need to do to achieve the success you want and more.
Yeah, definitely, and just do it.
How many people know their numbers? I think that's great.
No, it's. I think a lot of people try and shy away from it. I think I want to be a business where it's not KPI driven, but I have KPIs for myself. Like I don't see how you can work without measurable targets and stuff. So, just know what, even if it's two good things, or just know what it is, why you're good at it. Yeah.
Do your KPIs, people.
Do your KPIs.
Louise, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Thank you.